Autocorrelation is a main metric used in most software packages to assess the presence of seasonality. It's also used by SAP APO, and it uses it for two purposes. One is in their auto selection model to understand again the presence of seasonality, and the other one is when you choose seasonal linear regression. If the autocorrelation is below a certain threshold, it will default to linear regression. So the formula for autocorrelation is pretty complex, as you can see, but it is very easy to calculate in Excel, and it has a very, or sort of a simple meaning. Basically, to talk about autocorrelation, we first have to start with correlation. Let me show you what I mean. Here we have a seasonal series, for example, which is here in the top chart in blue. And correlation of two series is the understanding of the movement of these two series, whether they are, the meaning of correlation is that they move into the same directions, right, at each point. So basically, autocorrelation is getting this seasonal series where we have, for example, in here 36 months, is cutting this series in two, taking one series which will be from month 1 to 24, and the other one from month 13 to 36, and setting them up as two different series like we have below. So below in here, for example, the blue one is months 1 through 24, and the red one starts at month 13 and until 36. You can see this mark over here is the one we have over here, which is the one we have over here in blue as well. So this is autocorrelation, and of course, if something is seasonal and you shift it 1 year, you will have same movements for the same periods. January, ice cream in January in the north, where it's colder, it will go down, and in July it will go up, and the same thing will happen year after year. So the autocorrelation of 12 months in that case will be strong. One of the problems with autocorrelation is that it can give you false positives. What do I mean by this? So we have three different series here. This is the seasonal. We have a constant series that we used before, and we also have a trend series. So what we're going to do here is use the autocorrelation and calculate the autocorrelation for the three different series. First, autocorrelation in Excel is very easy. In English, it's just using the correl function, and what I'm doing here is again doing the correlation of the two different series. The first one will go from month 1 to 24, the second one will go from month 13 to 36. So I'm going to shift this formula to the constant one, which we can see that the autocorrelation for the constant series is very low, and I'm going to shift it towards the trend series now, where, as we said before, we have a false positive where the autocorrelation is very high. Why is this? Because if you look at the series and you shift this 12 months to the left, if you shift it 1 year, you have two trend series with the same level of trend that are parallel to each other, and that means there's a high correlation. In constant series, you don't have that problem, although you have the same movement, because correlation is always comparing the movement against the average, and because a constant series is close to the average all the time, there's no significant movement in the same direction versus the average. So again, autocorrelation is a very powerful metric. It's used by all software packages to assess seasonality, but you have to be very careful not to confuse it with a trend. And this is why we combine different KBIs, and we're going to see next what we call the compensated autocorrelation to avoid this problem. Just to let you know, the default threshold for APO is 30%. So basically, if the number is above 30%, there is seasonality. If not, there is not seasonality.